How are we getting on, folks? And welcome back to another episode of the Irish Race an Hour. I'm your host, Shane Rooney. We're without Ryan today. He's on his holidays, lucky for some. But we have a very special guest in there today. There's not many people that can say they've done it all. Well, this one has been everywhere and anywhere between the RDS Pony Club, Punchestown. As well as that, she's rehomed. She knows the way around, I suppose, a classroom now at this stage, but also she's a fairly decent artist. Emma Sweeney, welcome on board. It's great to have you.
Hi Shane, thanks very much. Great to be here.
Emma, just for those who don't know what you do or where you do it, just give a brief introduction about yourself and say what you've done in the past and where you are now, whatever you want to talk about.
Well, I'm living in Ashbourne, County Meath. Growing up, I pony raced for 5 or 6 years maybe, so that was a great foundation for, being able to race ride now, or, for the fitness and kind of things like that. And like I said, I did a lot of pony club, and that was very helpful for retraining horses now, which I've Mr. Cosmopolitan at the moment, and doing a bit with him, and enjoying kind of every aspect of horses at the moment. And I'm also a teacher. I just qualified there in June, so I'll be starting in September. So I have a full-time job in September, so looking forward to doing that.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And just I suppose talk about, say, life after graduation. Like, will it be difficult, say, for you to balance the work and the riding, or if you're, say, working in different yards, are they fairly supportive of what you're doing, or are you still going to, I suppose, keep up the riding at the weekends, you could say?
Well, it's the plan. I'm in Dermot McLaughlin's at the moment, and he's brilliant because his wife's a teacher, so he understands, the demand, and that I'm not going to be around during the week. So my biggest worry was kind of trying to keep fit for race riding. But with the horses we have at the moment, all duck or no dinner, he'll probably run into about October, all going to plan. And then he'll be on a break then till spring. And we got a new 4-year-old Imperial Monarch at the August sale last year. Yeah. So he won't be ready on kind of till springtime. So I have a kind of a gap of a couple of months in between, maybe to kind of, relax and that. And I can kind of get the riding out, maybe try work it in a bit more then after Christmas. But I just have to keep up with Saturdays and the gym and things like that, and just try to stay fit. But I'm blessed in a way that, I have a half day Friday, I'm off Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. And then I like, we have great holidays. So like I can try to fit the race riding. There's no point kind of ignoring it, but I can fit the race riding in around that. And, the school that I'm in, like, they're very supportive in that. So if, an evening meeting somewhere, they let me off a couple of hours early and that, so it's going to be kind of difficult because I kind of floated for 4 years of college. It's going in riding out here and there, and Asher racing, that's no bother. Sure, I've nothing on, and so now that I have a job, it's going to be a little bit.
You're in the big bad world now.
I don't know if I like it or not. I don't know.
Asher, look at sure, it all takes a bit of getting used to as well. Like, but we just want to talk about, say, the Pony Club, and as we all know, like, an awful lot of the jockeys that we now know, the likes of Jack Kennedy and Sam Ewing and all these great talented jockeys, like, they all came through Pony Club. Like, how was your transition, say, from going from Pony Club and being successful in the pony racing and all that to going to the big stage then?
With the Pony Club, I had done that when I was quite young, up until maybe about 10. But then, of course, I heard from Megan Carberry actually about the pony racing, and so that was all I wanted to do then. So I went around with her and her mother Jill a couple of times and kind of seeing what it was all about. So the Pony Club kind of went out the door then as soon as I wanted to do the pony racing. But I mean, it's such a huge foundation for young riders, and it gives them kind of an idea of what it's like. Some people say they pick up bad habits, but I mean, they can be kind of, they can be a help, but you learn how to ride a track, you learn, a bit about timing and things like that. But it's excellent. And for getting contacts and things as well, like you see Jack Kennedy in the paper every weekend riding winners pony racing, and people kind of earmark them. And then, as you go along, people kind of know who you are before you start in proper racing.
Yeah.
So no, I think it's really, really valuable for any young rider starting off to do even a season pony racing, like, because you just learn so much. I would not be race riding now if I didn't pony race. And like, God bless my parents, like they drove me around every weekend for, I think it was like 6 years, from length and breadth of the country to all the meetings. And like, I appreciate it so much now because I would not be able to race ride now. No way,
Look at that's where it all starts. Like, it's definitely, it's like the point of points. Like, it's the backbone of say jockeys progressing on and becoming better riders as well. But I suppose we may as well talk about Newcastle in January 2019, your first ride. How did you manage to start off over in Newcastle? Like, it's like, usually, like, the Irish jockeys did start off in, say, like, their local tracks, say, for the trainers that they're working for, like, but like Newcastle of all places, like, it was definitely very interesting, like, and you set off from the front in an amateur handicap, wasn't it? A handicap hurdle.
Yeah.
And you were bang there in the finish, bar, I suppose, we won't talk about the last, when all Ducker No Dinner nearly shipped you out the outside, but only Tom Hamilton and a fast finish, and I can't remember who the jockey was, but like, Tom Hamilton was a great man to come second or third to, like he's, look where he is there now, like, he's one of the best amateurs in the country, like. But what was the feeling like, say, going around, because you set off in front and played a bit of catch me if you can?
Yeah, the lads in England, it's kind of different to Ireland, like, because I said to the lads, listen, I'm going to get run away with, so let me out in front just to save any accidents, it's my first time. And they were all like, oh, go ahead, Jen. The starter dropped the flag, and they were like, off you go. They were very like, I was like, right, okay. So we jumped off, and next thing, he settled, and I was like, right, he's making a liar out of me, like, he's hacking away grand. And then we came round, and he saw the first hurdle and literally attacked it. I mean, his ears pricked, and he just went a million miles an hour into it. So my heart was in my mouth going into the first hurdle, because I wasn't, I hadn't ridden in a hurdle race, and I hadn't ridden duck in a hurdle race. I knew he loved jumping, I knew he was a great jumper, and I knew he attacked his hurdles, but this was another level. If you look back on it, like, I'm sitting back in my legs. But as the race went on, then I got to enjoy it then, because I kind of got into the rhythm of it, and was looking forward to kind of jump the next hurdle, and I was more ready for it then after I got the first hurdle out of the way. But yeah, the last hurdle, I was like, oh, like, I did not come the whole way to Newcastle to fall off the last hurdle. Do you know what I mean? But he was brilliant, because he always does that. In Punchestown as well, like, I ended up in the air at one stage, and he just finds an extra leg, like, touch wood, I'm saying that now, but he finds an extra leg and kind of saves me, which is great about him, because you can trust him, just hold on to the next strap, and he'll keep you afloat.
Definitely. So, but like, he's the type of horse everyone would love. Like, you just see him going around there, pricked ears the whole time. He's just happy out doing what he's doing. Like, and for the age of the horse he is, like, he's 13. Like, we've seen him there in Ballinrobe, ears pricked all the way around. Like, he was 30 lengths behind there one stage.
Don't be putting ears on him, Shane. He's only 11. Don't be putting ears on him.
He was absolutely loving life, and even like when he was well beaten, like, he was still happy out plodding around there, like nothing else. Like, but we just touched on it there. Punchestown then in October, 16th of October. I have down. I don't know whether I have it right or not. You changed tactics. Well, it looked like you had changed tactics. You started off probably aiming to drop the horse in, started off second last. After the first jump, he pulled his way to the front, and again played catch me if you can, but this time it definitely did work out. And I was listening to it again. You nearly broke poor Jerry Hannon, because the Baba Elephant was there behind you, and you were just after jumping it, and he was just saying the Baba Elephant, and he was the Baba. He was trying to keep you on the horse, but luckily enough you did, and lucky enough he jumped like a buck then for the rest of the journey. Like, but how was that ride compared to the wins that you got in Pony Club, and like, what was the feeling that getting your first winner on track? Was it more relief or whatever like that? I can see the photo actually of the race itself, and yourself and your mother who owns the horse, like, embracing each other. Like, but was it that extra bit special, like the fact that it was for your mother, like, instead of, say, I don't want to I don't want to badmouth any particular owners or anything like that. Like, but like, was it more special, like the fact that it was a family connection as well?
Absolutely. I think, you know, it was such a blur of a day, to be quite honest, because I was not expecting in any way, shape, or form. You know, people were texting me going, "Oh, you know, are you gonna win?" Blah blah blah. I was like, no, like literally, if I get round, like that's all I was saying, like one fence at a time. I'm not, you know.
Yeah.
So I hadn't looked at betting or anything like that. I didn't care. You know, I just wanted to go out and just get round and come home safe. But the end goal, all duck or no dinner, you know, we bred him, and you know, we've had him the whole way through, and we've watched him kind of grow into a horse, and you know, learn to be the kind of horse that he is now. And the end goal was for me to ride him in a race first of all, and then hopefully ride a winner on him, because we didn't know what type of horse he was. But you know, with the likes of Johnny Moore and Conor McNamara and that getting off him saying like, geez, you know, he will win races, and you know, he's fantastic jumper. And Jer Fox actually won on him, and it was very funny. He hadn't won, and he was kind of had placed a few times and was running okay. And Jer Fox walks into the parade ring and down Royal and says, "Oh, listen, lads, are going to ride a winner today," and all this going on. So we were like, all right, yeah, okay. And then he did, and then it was kind of that, wow, okay, like it is, you know, it is possible for him to win races. So Punchestown, like when I passed the line, I was kind of there looking back on, are you sure we haven't got another lap to do or something? Like, you know, it was like, is this actually happening? So it was a bit of a blur, all of that. But yeah, the plan for that was to drop out, which, you know, hasn't really worked ever. I think once I dropped him out in Limerick, and actually he settled grand there. But no, as Gavin had said that, Gavin was like, listen, you'll never win the 3 mile chase from the front, and which was, you know, was good enough instruction. I said, right. And he said, look, if that doesn't go to plan, just go out and enjoy yourself. So I said, right. So I think after the first fence, I was like, right, plan B, I'm just going to enjoy myself here. And, you know, whatever happens, just stay on. And then I was jumping, I think it was the second last, and I was like, oh, I was like, okay, we did actually win this. So yeah, it was a bit,
it was definitely, I just looking back in it there now, like it was definitely funny to see like the fact that he was just like you were giving him the instruction to you know, like relax and settle out the back, and he was just like, no, I'm taking you on.
Yeah, there's literally like, and you know, the way I look at it is with him, he's kind of wooden when he's keen, and there's no point me fighting with him. Like, you know, I'm only going to tire myself out. And you know, we hadn't jumped fences, and I was like, you know what, maybe it is the best to jump from the front and give him loads of light and that, because he knows what he's doing. You know, he you know, raced more times than I'd raced road on the track, so I kind of just left him to his own devices. And I don't know, he just, looking back at it, like I kind of sent him nearly at every fence, and the lads are kind of half giving out to me after it, saying, "Yo, don't do that, don't send him at fences." So I was like, look, it worked out because he loved it, you know, that sort of way.
Yeah.
But trying to tell Duck what to do, like you can't, like, so I was only a passenger, so I just sat there and let him roll and see what happens.
But look, obviously this year in particular, like it's been a great year for, say, women in the sport, and the likes of, say, previous jockeys, the likes of Nina Carberry, Katie Walsh, like the two that we grew up watching, like, and Rachel Blackmore there this year, like how much of an influence have they had on the sport, say, for women in racing? Like, or do you see it more yourself that there's more women getting into racing? Obviously, look at the past. There's been a stigma attached to racing, saying that it's a man's game and this and that. Like, but like those three names just have definitely proven it wrong over the years. Like, but like, just say for your own sake, like, do you see more women getting into racing? Like, and it's definitely something that's very much welcomed. Like,
yeah, absolutely. You know, just looking at those women ride, it just kind of shows that it can be done. Hard work, determination, bit of luck, bit of talent, the whole lot mixed together, and it can be done. Nina was always number one inspiration. She lived just up the road. She's brilliant. She gave me her goggles when I was actually in Pony Club at Ferry House races, and we all used to run up and annoy the jockeys for like goggles, whatever. So Nina gave me a pair of goggles. And then my first ride was down Patrick, and Nina was riding in the same race, and it was like, oh, like, you know, it was one of those moments where you're like, oh. So no, like Nina, Katie, and like Rachel now, like Rachel's an absolute lady as well, on top of being super talented, and she's so modest and nearly doesn't even believe what's kind of happening, which is unbelievable, like, because she's so good, and like she's every bit as good, if not better, than a lot of the lads.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
And then you have other girls coming up too, Siobhan Rutledge, like, I mean, She is my inspiration. Sarah Kavanagh, she works so hard. She's fantastic. Jodie Townend, and you can see the weight room now filling up more and more and more with all these girls, and they're well able to ride, and they just need the opportunities and need the horses. So hopefully the tide will start kind of turning, that it'll become more equal. But it's a slow process. But I think definitely Nina and Katie started that process, and now with the help of Rachel and all the girls now that are coming into the weigh room, it'll slowly turn.
Yeah, definitely. But even there, I suppose, looking back there last year, like we interviewed Maxine O'Sullivan, like, and she was in the process of defending her Fox Hunters crown, like, and that photo alone, like, of say Eugene and herself in the Fox Hunters Cup the first time they won it, and then she winning the Fox Hunters then how many years later, like, it was fantastic, is right. But I suppose
with Maxine, Anya O'Connor, Lisa O'Neill, like, they're all great fronts for racing as well. They're great people, and they're great sportswomen, and they're banging in winners, and like they're riding for top owners and top trainers as well, which is fantastic. And they're really sticking it up to the lads, and they're doing a great job of it. So it's great to
definitely. But sure, like it's definitely great to see, and it's great that the sport is moving forward for the better, instead of, say, like, for the worse, or excluding, say, women from race riding or whatever like that. Like, but I just want to bring another topic into the conversation here now. We did touch on, obviously, Mr. Cosmopolitan there. You've done great work with him. Like, I don't think he's ever been as famous like than what he is like. I know, look, at with the recent documentary being aired on BBC and all that, like, it definitely has tarnished the racing industry with one brush, and like I know it's definitely undermined, say, the people like yourself and the hard work that you do put in, say, rehoming these horses and giving them a new lease of life, and giving them a new quality of life that people just do not see. And it's just it's not right, and the documentary itself was very much one-sided and very stark and one directional, opinionated, and everything else about it. Like, but how did it make you feel to see the likes of that being aired, and just, say, undermining the industry and the majority of the people in the industry that work around these horses? And they, regardless of what people think, these horses do generally get great homes and great people looking after them.
Yeah, when that was coming out, before it had aired, the kind of general vibe in the racing community was, oh my God, what are they going to show? And, with the Greyhound thing a couple of years ago, it was just very much like, oh, Jesus, like, what's going to show? Even though there was nothing kind of to hide, but there's always a bit of darkness with everything, that kind of way.
Yeah.
So when it aired, to be honest, I think the general vibe then in the racing community was a very, very poor attempt at trying to show this sort of negative light on racing, and he's standing there with a coloured horse, and he's using the same footage. Like, I know the footage in the abattoir was awful, and it was terrible, but again, it was an English abattoir, but it was trying to point it on Irish racing. And I just think it was really just watching it, was going, really, like, could you not put on a program about all the horses that do get lives after racing, and promote that and show what thoroughbreds can do? Because I think there's a lot of stigma around thoroughbreds, like, oh, they're mad race horses, they couldn't be riding horses, don't want that. And when myself and Mr. Cosmopolitan started off with the racehorse to riding horse, there was only 3, 4, maybe 5 thoroughbreds in the ring, and he would probably be like the least known of the thoroughbreds. You'd have a couple of big names in it. But now, I competed last week in Colossery, and there was 18 thoroughbreds in the ring, which was a huge inflation in the numbers, which was fantastic to see. And this weekend coming, there's a 2-day show dedicated completely to thoroughbreds in Enfield. So I think there's a lot of people trying really hard to promote racehorse to riding horse, and it's really starting to take off, and it's so great to see, because these are the best horses in the world, like the best horses. They're so versatile. Like, Baz has done everything but polo. That's what I say. Like, and he's too big for polo, and I'm too small. But he's done everything. Like, he's hunted, he pointed, he ran on the track, he show jumped, he's going eventing now in a couple of weeks. Like, he's brilliant, and he's not just an exception. There's so many thoroughbreds that have that kind of kind nature and willingness to do things, you know.
Yeah.
Now of course there's some thoroughbreds that be unsuitable, but there's also sport horses that are unsuitable to what they're supposed to be doing, you know, that kind of way. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I think, like, thank God it's starting to, the stigma is starting to change a little bit about thoroughbreds. And
yeah, but like, even say there's an awful lot of, say, well-regarded horse people that would say like some of the best horses they've seen definitely come through thoroughbred lines, and like that would be, say, for say sport horses and all that. Like, even say breeding, like if you crossed, say, sport horse with thoroughbred, like it generally turns into an all-rounder. Like it's just one of those things where people just do not like racing, and they will do absolutely everything in their power to shut racing down. And in my opinion, it should not have been called the dark side of racing, because it wasn't. It was the dark side of English abattoirs, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Like, I know, look at like the media and all that, like they have to show different things, like, and everything else like that, like, but to make it, I suppose, a more fairer battle, they could have given the likes of yourself or some other stable lass or stable lad that do rehome horses and give these horses great lives, like a bit of airtime for a bit of fairness sake. But I suppose we may as well talk about your other talent, Emma. you're one of many talents. Art by Emma. What's the story there, or how are you, say, going that side of things? Like, are you busy, or are you looking for a custom or whatever?
Yeah, I haven't done much in the last kind of couple of weeks. I've been quite busy just with riding out and trying to, you know, do the yard and things like that. And Mr. Cosmopolitan, thank God, is back in full swing doing his thing. So my day's been quite full with that. But I do like to do a bit in the evening. And I've been doing kind of little bits of commission. I haven't been very active on the social media lately. There's kind of a backlog of stuff that I just need to post. It's that type of thing that you think about too much and then you don't do it. So no, I will get back into kind of posting more over the winter, and kind of especially for Christmas. You know, Christmas gifts, if people want like pet portraits or portraits of their horses, or, you know, whatever they want. I'm kind of planning on doing a bit more up to Christmas, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And Emma, we have started, say, a new how would you say it? A new sort of a system now with season 2, and the guests, we're starting to fire a few quick fire questions at them. So look, I'm gonna fire a few questions at you. They're not too hard. They shouldn't land you in deep water, so if they do, I'm very sorry.
That's no problem.
Your favorite horse growing up?
My favorite horse growing up, Cotto Star. Racehorse or just in general?
Just in general. Just in general.
Oh, my Pony Star. Sorry, that took
a turn. Your best experience with horses, like, I know, look, at you have had, say, winners on the track and even riding in the RDS, like, but like, what would be one that stood out to you, like, just in terms of overall joy and excitement and everything else like that?
Oh, like, I know. Can I pick two?
Go on, fire away. Pick
two obvious ones: RDS and riding a winner on the track. There are two, and especially with the two horses that I got to do it with, because they're two of my best boys, you know, and they're my babies. So they were two definitely standouts, and even the lead up to them getting to spend the time with them and, you know, training with them was the whole thing.
It was Mr. Cosmopolitan that won the RDS, was it?
Yeah, he was reserve champion to Don Kozak. Yeah.
Well, sure, look at, like, that's
again, we were only turning up turning up for the crack, and didn't expect a rosette. Like, never mind, come out with a sash as well. So
well, sure, look at, like,
that was a bit mad.
For those listening that don't think racehorses have great lives after, or a new career after, like, you're looking at one that's one of the biggest one of the biggest horse meetings in Ireland, and definitely one in the world anyway. Now, where was I? One race you would love to win?
Oh, you'd have to say the Grand National, but do I have to be realistic, or?
Well, sure, look at, like, it's definitely the dream, I suppose, like, and it's one that you'd love to win, like, so I definitely take the Grand National, like, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, even just, I'd love to just win a bumper. That's another thing on my list. I'd just love to win a bumper. I don't know why. Just love to.
It'd be like bringing you back to the pony racing days.
And there's no jumps.
One country that you've a bucket list to visit.
Oh, there's so many. Definitely South Africa.
Okay.
Definitely. And do all the safaris and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be something that looks absolutely class, so it does. One horse in training that you'd love to ride that you haven't already.
That's a good question. I don't know. I guess there's so many.
There's so many, I suppose.
I suppose Freewheeling Dylan.
Oh yeah, he looks he looks like a superstar, so he does. Like he's a proper catch me if you can horse. Like he is,
and that suits me down to the ground. He loves his jumping. So.
You may put a good word into Dermot, like sure, like you're in that yard, like so you surely have a bit of pull there anyway, like so.
I've been asking the owner Sheila Mangan, I did me wide up and say, you want to take 7 pounds off him now the next day.
Oh stop. Well, sure, look, actually you could actually live out your dream there now, like because you said you want to ride in the Grand National, like, and sure he is being.
Ricky Doyle would be too happy. I don't think Ricky now would be giving up the ride for me to live out my dream.
Oh, stop. The best current hurdler, like of this generation, like that you think is the best of the best.
Oh, Honeysuckle. Sure.
Yeah, have to be.
She's a queen. Yeah.
And I suppose this one is just more of your own personal, wouldn't like away from your riding and things like, but lasting impression you'd love to leave on someone. What would it be and why?
Lasting impression. I don't know. I want to leave them a little bit happier than when I spoke to them before.
Okay, well that's definitely, I suppose that you couldn't go wrong with that anyway.
Yeah, it's trying to be simple.
Yeah, well sure, look at like that's definitely it. Look at Emma, it's been great talking to you and all that, like, but we've come to the end of it. Like, please make sure to keep liking, sharing, and subscribing. Anyone that's listening in, I leave a link in the description below as well for our Patreon service. Like that helps fund this podcast and whatever. But we are basically going around to different people and going around to different places now as well, showing a bit of a positive light on racing. And we're giving the likes of Emma that wouldn't necessarily be on racing TV every single day a little bit of airtime, because at the end of the day, these people do put in incredible hard work into getting these horses to the track. And look, at the end of the day, they deserve every bit of credit that they get. From myself and Ryan, Emma, we want to say thanks very much for coming on. Like I already said, for those listening in, hit that red button down below. It really does help us out. And we'll see you all next week for another great interview. Emma, thanks very much.
Thanks for having me, Shane. See ya.
All right.